Excellent. So would you be able to explain for people who weren't able to come to the session a bit about what your paper was on and what your research is about?
Yeah, so I'm looking at Thomas More's Lala Rookh, which is an Orientalist romance, and I'm really interested in how he is presenting a version, a kind of Orientalist fantasy of the East as a kind of space of plenty, and that is able to feed British self-sufficiency. But I'm also interested in how that kind of fantasy does unravel within the text itself, because he is also conscious of the fact that all of the ways in which he is presenting the East is through tropes that he has kind of gleaned from other texts. And so there's this really interesting relationship between figurative tropes and the kind of material scenes of ingestion, which is what I look at, and how that kind of problematizes the way in which the East really exists as a space that is able to feed Britain. And this is coming out of a broader project where I'm interested in commodities, and specifically ingestible commodities, so tea, opium, things that you can take into the body, and which really so exotic consumerism really grew in the 18th century, and specifically driving that is ingestible commodities. And so that was like a real spike in sort of exotic produce that was being consumed by Britain. And against this general kind of backdrop, how that influenced British representations of the Orient, which is why I look at scenes of ingestion in Thomas More's poem. So.
Do your kind of investigations of the idea of consumption ever look at the idea of the illness of consumption and how sort of Eastern medicines might feed into that idea?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I sort of get at that tangentially because I look at, the kind of line between medicine and just regular food is really blurry, especially in the 18th century when tea and coffee were being consumed, and people were thinking about them as these Eastern drugs that could potentially heal our bodies, but could also potentially really be a poison and toxic. And really where people came down on, like which side of the line they came down on, was very much tied to their political and economic sort of standpoint. If they thought, if they were protectionists, they wanted Britain to sort of close in and not be self-sufficient and not really be influenced or contaminated by the East, and they tended to think about Eastern commodities like tea as a kind of poisonous drug. Yeah, so definitely that comes up,
Fantastic. That's really interesting, especially with the idea of opium as well.
Exactly. So, it's really interesting to trace how tea kind of that really is around tea, the discourse, and then it shifts to opium and how that is differently coded.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Great. Of course. Thank you.